Barak Yahawah, Hashem Yahawashi, Hashem, Qadash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is The Muuuzzerella Keeps Piling Up. And what I mean by that is, here's some more cheese, for some more spaghetti for your plate. This is based off of a article that I just ran across. I want to read a little bit of it. I started reading it and I just decided to pause and just do a little quick update on what's going on. This is from blacklistednews.com. And the article is dated April 23rd, 2023, which is actually today. And it says, Senators introduce bill to create digital identity for all Americans. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna put this, okay, I won't be able to do it that way. So what I'll do is I'll go back. I'm going to put the article in the live chat so that those of you that would like to read it or get more information on it or just have a copy of it can have a copy of it. Just bear with me. And there it goes. All right, so let's read a little bit of it. A precept or two, and then that'll be it. Senators introduced bill to create digital identity for all Americans. And the reason why this is important to speak on, because this is leading the charge, as well as all the other information that's out there on the MOTB, because everything will be digital. They've been pushing that for the longest, which is all a part of the MOTB, which is the micro CHIP. Now, it says U.S. Senator Kirsten Sinema, an independent of Arizona, and Cynthia Loomis, Republican of Wyoming, have introduced Senate Bill 884, also known as the Improving Digital Digital Identity Act of 2023. And pretty much these acts usually are turned, from acts to bills from acts to actual bill, and then actually into law. So the bill was introduced March 21st and ordered to proceed out of committee on March 29th without amendment and with a favorable recommendation. See, because they want this. They want everything to be digital, easier to track, easier to put everything on the a digital spot or place where they can access everything. This is why when Nick Rockefeller, when the Aaron Russo had an interview with him. Aaron Russo asked him, what's the ultimate goal? He said to have everybody CHIP'd. And everything will be on the CHIP. And even this dude, Alex Jones, he even said total control. And that's exactly what it's all about. The MOTB. And you see some of these groups out here that have been denying the MOTB. Pretty much now, some of them, others, they don't even give a damn, but some of them are scrambling now to speak about the digital thing, which you haven't heard nothing else from them, but they did a lesson on the digital currency that's coming. They might throw a micro CHIP in there, but that's not the MOTB. But now, when it all comes out, well, if you listen good, moron, I never said that it wasn't. I said that it wasn't nothing happening yet. The nerve of these guys. Anyways, the bill was introduced March 21st. Okay, I read that already. It says the bill's text states the lack of an easy affordable, reliable, and secure way for organizations, businesses, and government agencies to identify whether an individual is who they claim to be online, creates an attack vector that is widely exploited by adversaries in cyberspace, and precludes many high-value transactions from being available online. Incidents of identity theft and identity fraud continue to rise in the United States, which that's the pretense, where more than 293 million people were impacted by data breaches in 2021. The bill calls for the formation of a public-private partnership to bring this digital ID system into being. The public and private sectors should collaborate to deliver solutions that promote confidence, privacy, choice, equity, accessibility, and innovation. The private sector drives much of the innovation around digital identity in the United States and has an important role to play in delivering digital identity solutions. See, and that private sector is run by who? By these corporations, which are run by who? The international banker families. So it's no, coincidence that this is what they're pushing for. It says the bill references the Bipartisan Commission on Enhancing National Cybersecurity, which has called for the federal government to create an interagency task force director to find secure, user-friendly, privacy-centric ways in which agencies can serve as one authoritative source to validate identity attributes in the broader identity market. This action would enable government agencies and the private sector to drive significant risk out of new account openings and other high-risk, high-value online services, and it would help all citizens more easily and securely engage in transactions online. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the transaction, baby. It says the above section of the bill extremely vague on purpose, really. It's extremely vague, but they made it extremely vague on purpose because they want something extremely vague when they pass these bills and this legislation so that it could be open for the interpretation of guess who? The government, which is really run by who? The corporations. All right? It says, and left wide open for bureaucrats and technocrats, which is a new government, really, the technocrats, to require a digital ID to perform any function considered high risk, high value online services up to and including logging onto the internet. So something as simple as just logging into the internet, they want government regulation through the government and these private sectors. Come on now. So this is all, the stage is set, the infrastructure is in place, and all of these little, screws that they're adding to it is just cementing the future, for the world. It says globalists with ties to the United Nations and World Economic Forum have for several years advocated a digital ID requirement as a way of removing so-called disinformation from the internet. Once everyone has a digital ID, it becomes easy to restrict everyday human movement and action and activity based on one's social credit score. Come on now. Come on, people. And this is exactly what Nick Rockefeller told Aaron Russo. They want everybody to see it, all the information on the CHIP, and if they act up, hence your social credit score, then they can hit the button, not in the way of recording, but hit the button on and put a pause on your shit, so that you can't, you can't function, so that you can't do any business. This is why they want everything digital. It's going to be a worldwide event that's going to, pretty much put a roadblock to anyone that is not a part of the system, so you could understand. The MOTB is in effect. So here's some more mozzarella for your dish. Here's some more mozzarella, and it keeps piling up. So like, I'm being a little animated, but it's all good. Like in China, which Klaus Schwab has stated is the model for many other nations, and that's exactly what it is. If your score dips below a certain point, hence, what was that? That was Black Mirror, the season 3, episode 1. You are now a high-risk individual, and your digital ID would simply be flagged. The government, working in collusion with big tech, that's what it's all about, in their ongoing public-private partnership, simply block you from logging onto the internet. You can no longer have a bank account, get a driver's license, receive health care, obtain a passport, or any of those other high-risk privileges. Because it's all about the what? The privileges. That's what you get. This is why we are slaves. We are contractual paper slaves. The contracts are the shackles. And they give what? Privileges, which you have rights to do anyway. And with these privileges, which is given by the government, they put restrictions on you according to how they want it. And now with it being digital, it makes it easier just at the push of a button to eliminate you, to put you on pause until you comply. Just like that short, that's going around. I saw it from Elder Apostle Bar. You saw it from other brothers, where they show you the future and how people are pretty much restricted to their rooms. You got to have a mask when you go out, and they bring you your rations every week, bugs and, different things they give you. And then every month they give you your card with your benefits on it, and they deduct everything, and you get left with 5 credits or whatever, however much they give you, and you have to spend it within 7 days. You can't save, no more savings. You will own nothing and be happy. Remember, Cotton Schwab. And, this is how they plan on controlling the world, smart cities, and the likes. So, let me go real quick to the book of Revelation. If the Spirit hit me, I'll read a little more, but if not, you get the gist. That mozzarella just keeps piling up. It just keeps piling up. It just keeps piling up. I'm sorry, not Revelation 12, I'm 13. Revelation 12 and 10. And it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed. Why? Because this is after Esau's destruction. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they're accusing, saying, look, what you people doing, even though they're the ones pushing it upon Jake. But they're also accusing in the sense of categorizing everything. This devil likes to put everything into a category. Because the word there for accuser is kategoreo. It goes back to the word kategoros, which means accuser. To accuse before a judge, to make an accusation of an extrajudicial accusation. To be the plaintiff, to charge with some offense, and this is what they're charging us with: the offense of what? Of Jake out there eating pork, Jake out there committing adultery, Jake out there, being moles, Jake out there shaving their beards, Jake out there shaving their heads, Jake out there breaking the laws, statutes, commandments of Yahawah. But why? Because Esau enables them. Esau pushes it for them to do it. So that they think that by Jake being in that destitute state, that they're going to be able to have the Most High do away with Israel, and that's it. But what they're not counting on is the elect. They don't count on the Most High, put the Spirit on the elect, the Spirit in His remnant, not to bow the knee to the image of Baal, or not to bow the knee to their whole agenda, including, but not limited to, the MOTB and everything else that comes along with it. So in Psalms 10 and 7, it says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, because they promise you one thing, but it's all under pretense. There's ulterior motives. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Yeah. His words are smoother than butter, but inwardly they're drawn swords, because they have an ulterior motive for Jake. This is why eventually they're going to make a move on Jake, because it says that they shall be as madmen, sparing none, but still wasting and destroying those that fear the Lord. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, right? And in this case, they're compared to a lion or an animal of prey, you know, or a predator that sits waiting for their prey. And how do they do this? By the legislation that they're passing, and then waiting for, especially Jake, to get involved and then accept it, so that they can have him and put him in that trap and shut the trap down on him. It says, in the secret places does he murder the innocent. How? By, you know, pushing these agendas on them, you know, and all whatever it is that causes Jake to break the laws, and eventually having them to comply with this new system that they're putting in place, which is a digital system, so that the majority of Jake can take the MOTB, which is the micro C-hip. Now, I was at the store yesterday, you know, I was buying some green bananas and an avocado, and I watched this tall Edomite looking dude, and he was there buying stuff, and then I saw him with his credit card tapping it on the, you know, on the reader for it to take money out. And I said, see, it's just that simple. This younger generation, they're already indoctrinated to move and operate in that direction. So with them, they're not going to really have much of a problem, you know. But with the older generations, they're going to have problems, because they're more savvy to the old ways and dealing with cash. Most people today don't deal with cash. They deal, you know, with debit cards, credit cards, so on and so forth. You know, so it's going to be a lot easier for them, unless those people that are of the younger generation are part of the elect, which is also possible. You know, so they got it all on lock, man. He says he does murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor, because it's all about the poor. They just want two classes, the super rich and the super poor. He lieth in wait secretly with what? With his legislation. He shall speak as a dragon, as a lion in his den. See, ready to pounce on the prey. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And how does he draw him into his net? By these different agendas that they're pushing upon the world, that are nothing more than a trap. You know, and the word there for net is Rashath. And the word Rashath is net, for catching, of judgment, of leaders leading people to sin. Woo! There you have it. Of leaders leading people to sin. And this is what Esau is doing. Through their legislation, through the government, through these private sectors. Never have in the world have you heard about that, the government being run by private sectors. You know, but these corporations that are being established through the super rich international banking families are doing just that, manipulating legislation and these legislators by paying them. Money talks, bullshit walks. Give me control of a nation's money, and I care now who makes the laws. This is why Maya Barak said that, because he saw the potential for manipulating people by way of controlling the monetary system. And this is why this whole system that's being set up into place has everything to do with money, which is digital money. This is why you see all this push on this. And then you have the controlled oppositions like your Tucker Carlsons and others that are really a part of the agenda speaking against it because they want that. You have to have both sides. You just can't have one. When they passed, the Federal Reserve Act, which became law, eventually you had those big business men that actually were the ones that hashed out, all of the particulars of that bill that became a law. They were speaking against it. And the people were like, well, it might be pretty good because if these big business don't want it, that means it must be pretty good. These devils are very devious. They are more subtle than any beast of the field. It says, as a trap for man, network, brazen for altar or tabernacle. And pretty much the people are pretty much a sacrifice on the altar of these devils. Because they know that when the destruction comes, a lot of people are going to die in this destruction. So let's see what else we got there. And maybe I might read another so verse 10 in Psalms 10 and 10, he croucheth and humbleth himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Because once he has everything in place, then there's not much someone could do. Because once they set up that social credit score and people are on that grid, you have to comply. Look at Black Mirror, season 3, episode 1. You have to kiss ass, just pretty much, be an ass kisser, just pretty much just be a slave to people so that they can give you good marks so that you don't fall beyond or below the certain criteria, so that you can be able to work. There were people that couldn't even access, inside of the building because their credit score was so low. The devil is a devious man. He hath said in his heart, the Most High hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Yeah, and that's exactly what they're pushing. Because the Most High hasn't really made a move on them, yet they thinking that the Lord forgot about this, he forgot about us. The Lord ain't forget about us. And how do we know that? By the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that he's given us to hold on to as hope. While the world is hopeless, the elect will be hopeful. All right, so let me see if I can glean a little more off of this article. If not, we'll close it out because the point has been made. So going back, so it says, we have already seen how the government worked hand in glove with big tech and corporate America to silence dissidents on the V. And that's exactly what they did. That's why you can't speak about it. Why? Because you speak about it, you'll be demonized. You'll get your platform clipped. V passports, masking, and lockdowns during the Plan D. In Canada, the government worked with banks to freeze the bank accounts of protesting truckers. The whole C to the vid experience was a dry run for the coming beast system, which Elder Pastor said that, and we've been saying it also. Let me read that again. The whole CVID experience was a dry run for the coming beast system where you won't be able to buy or sell without showing proof of submission to the system. Digital IDs in tandem with the coming digital money will be weaponized into a global enforcement because it's going to be a worldwide event, a global enforcement system, the likes of which the world has never seen. And this is why it says here, let's end it off with this, Revelation chapter 3 and 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Right, and the word world and earth both signify the entire globe. This is why it's a global system. Nowhere to run to, baby, nowhere to hide. The only place to run to and hide is the stronghold of Yahawah Yahawashi. So that's the Muuuzzerella keeps piling up. And I spelled it like that on purpose. So with that, I pray that your brothers and sisters have been edified. Until the next time I say, Shalom.